Well, I can reading about it. Once you join, so three of you here maybe using video. And I think you might need to. Yeah. Are you guys able to turn the cameras on? Not you can. Show us actually. Hino, I'm gonna move you off the stage for just some background noise. You can we have Corey
Hey,
here.
can you hear me, Alpha?
Yeah. And you guys able to turn cameras on?
I can't, man. I'm using my 4G today. Some truck, yeah, he passed it on the street and basically destroyed the cables at my internet.
Sure. Okay.
I can't go camera. I'm feeding the baby right now.
Okay. More people here. I see Tarun, you know. Okay, the only thing back on. Hey, what's up, Pino?
GM, everyone. Sorry, I'm also somewhat multitasking right now, dealing with a situation with my daughter. It's nothing bad, just
okay.
Gonna be around. But I'm here trying to listen in. Nice to see everyone.
Good to have you here. Tarun too. What's up, Tarun?
Hey, what's up, man? Glad to be here, part of the V1 Green Pill launch season.
Cool.
Let's go.
So, yeah, let's go, and we'll get started. I don't have too much of like a structure for today's call. A lot of it more so meant to be a conversation. The first part, I'll kind of go through what we built, what's new, and kind of some of the process that we've gone through over the past few quarters, and then really want to just have a conversation and this chat with everybody about how they see green goods growing in the future, where it's applicable, where it can improve. So, yeah, let's get into it. All right, so okay, I see. Second here. So, yeah, let's start things. So, as you can see, we have the homepage shared for Green Goods, which is bringing regenerative actions on chains. So, yeah, we've over the past year or two have been kind of experimenting and figuring out where should Green Goods focus. And I think a lot of the kind of inspiration for where we want to focus comes from like Green Pill and the different regenerative nodes like ReefDAO and other communities in the space, and kind of from this, listening and seeing what chapters are working on and what was the commonalities, domains popped up for us. So with this pilot, we're focusing on four different areas of regenerative work, which is Ethereum education. So that's people doing workshops, activities, getting people more aware of Ethereum and the adjacent technologies that are going to be built upon it. We have waste management, which a few chapters across Africa, Kofangan, and in Brazil are doing waste management work, so could help support that. We have Agroforestry. So agroforestry is being done by a good amount of chapters from, let's see, Uganda, there's ReFi Sicilia, ReFi Barcelona, Togo in Brazil, Agroforestry, and I think I'm missing one person. So maybe they'll come to me later. But yeah, so that's been one of our other focuses. And the last one is something that I'm actively involved in, solar hub development. For the past few quarters, been helping Greenfield Nigeria via Tech and Sun build solar hubs at local universities, a collaborative learning and education space for the youth there. And so those are the 4 areas we're focused on when we say bringing regenerative actions on chains. And a lot of that is like really just highlighting the great work that people are doing and making it more coherent, making it clear like what impact is being generated, what metrics are growing, what people are being served, etc. So that's what we're trying to do with Green Goods. And if you want to check out the app, you can scan the QR code right now on your screen, and that'll take you to the app where you could go check it out. And so we'll get into it more. I'm gonna start showing off some of the app, but would love to see who else we have on the call who's hopped in. Guys, double checking. So yeah, let me start sharing. Just give a second. Slow.
Your audio and video is a little bit choppy for me also.
Can you guys hear me? Am I still there? Turn my video off. Maybe it'll help. Hello?
I think that's better, yeah. It seems to be a clearer audio. Somebody's got a hot mic though.
Okay. Can everybody make sure their mic's off? Can everybody check their mic and turn it off? It will say it's unmuted, but it's not. So please just click your mic and just unmute again. Okay, I'm just gonna take everybody off because. Okay, I think it was Amnia. Okay. Good. Okay. Everybody that's on the stream, you can please, when you join the stream, mute and unmute. Unmute and mute again because Talk Studio has this bug. So you might think you're muted, but you're not. So please, make sure you're aware of that. All right, let's get into the admin dashboard. So with Green Goods, we've now have an admin dashboard that we've now created for operators on the back end to manage their spaces they create. We currently have 3 created. Expect this page to be a lot more come next week as we onboard more and more of the gardens. And a lot of people that are on this call are going to be creating their gardens. Just to click into one. So in essence, you could view, you can see Tech and Sun here, which is Nigeria. You can see my family garden in Loma Linda, California. And then you have our open community garden that if you want just to test things out, do some work, this is a free garden that anybody could join. Clicking into it, we have some details here and around, the operators work done. We'll look at impact, which still things are being worked on. You can see recent work submissions, so you can see, and then who's actively have from all. So while that okay. Hopefully it's not too crappy. I guess, so yeah, you can see back we for the platforms are different domains that I mentioned earlier: solar, agroforestry, education, and where you're not giving away any of your principal. You're just staking, and any yield that comes from the principal you deposit goes to the garden and the work they're doing. So you can see we have 3 vaults here. We have each garden gets 2 vaults, one in stables, one in ETH. And this is just to kind of have that balance on stable coin yield as well as native ETH yield. So yeah, we have a little bit of funds deposited, but when you check this out over the by next week, it'll be a lot higher as we'll have rest of the gardens, and we'll be depositing up to 20K across all the gardens for this initial pilot. Another aspect that we integrated, so if I go back to here, is we integrated cookie jar payouts. So if anybody familiar with cookie jar, it's a very simple protocol where you have a jar of funds, and then you just have a allow list of people who could access those funds at a certain amount and take it out on some recurring basis. So we've integrated that to enable gardener payouts, so that anybody who's a gardener in a garden could take out payouts based on the work they do. So that's a nice little thing, and anybody can add to it. If anybody wants to support or put funds in, and then kind of what's really the cool thing here is that we have yield allocation. So we just kicked things off, so there's not any yield to allocate. But what's really great about Octant Vaults is that it enables you to take yield that gets generated and then allocate that to kind of different places, for your impactful work. And what we've done here is set up a split that's going to 3 areas. One is the cookie jar I just showed, so putting funds into a cookie jar so you could, do payouts and pay for and compensate for the work done. Hypercerts. So this is actually the main part of our grant with Arbitrum, which was really to integrate Octant Vaults and create a soft buy pressure for Hypercerts. The Hypercerts Marketplace is deployed on Arbitrum. So in essence, as yield grows and that yield then gets allocated, it's going to be used to buy up Hypercert fractions based on the Hypercert created by that garden. And I'll get into gardens conviction voting in a bit, because that ties into how we're determining how much fractions to buy. And then, of course, we then have 2.7% going to what is the Green Goods Treasury right now? I think we'll look to do like a juice box or some type of token launch in the future. But right now, that is going to the Treasury, so that is a little bit misleading, but that is going to the Green Goods Treasury. And this kind of going up to gardens right above. So if I were to, if a lot of us are familiar with the Gardens platform, which is conviction voting, governance platform for DAOs and communities. And what we've done is it fully integrated it on chain to where when you create a garden in Green Goods, that creates a conviction voting community on the Gardens platform. So it really helps to people just be able to opt in into these other features. So like, let me go, I could show you guys that community. So let me go find it. So you can see here, see we have communities here. Oh, we have 3 communities. See. Okay, so maybe I'm a little, or maybe I'm not communities. But yeah, this basically was created automatically based on when you created your garden, it created Green Goods community. So people could join it with the good token, which is just like an ERC20 we're airdropping to enable people to join communities to start. Coming back to here, and now trying to think if there's anything I should highlight. No, I think that's it for the admin dashboard. I'll pause there before getting into the client app to show any updates there. Any questions from the crew and people? I see we got a lot of people in backstage, so I want to get to the conversation part of things and stuff. Cool. So let's just get through the rest of this, and then I could show you guys, or we could get to the conversation. Okay, let's refresh this. We're seeing what is that? Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, my internet just crapped out for like the last 5 minutes.
Man, I'm getting returned.
You have 2 accounts up here, Corey. The stream gods are not blessing us today. This is not.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. And Luis, can you guys hear me?
Yes. Hi guys.
Okay, finally. Yeah, today's stream has been the internet's just been crappy. Okay.
I'm still getting returned.
This is the most weirdest stream because I can't turn my camera on. Nobody has their camera on. My mic seems to not even be working fully.
Are you hearing something in the background?
No.
I was hearing someone.
Yeah, you always hear someone every time. So I feel like it's something touchy you. So.
Yeah, Streamlabs is weird.
Yeah, I think we're gonna use a new streaming tool going forward. This is not working well. All right, well,
could you do it on Google Meeting?
No, this is like we're already live streaming.
Oh, you can stream from there.
Not with our account.
You can go to YouTube and add you as
I know that. No, we can't. Not with our account. I looked into that.
Oh, weird.
Okay, we'll just make it work here. Apologies, guys. This is really shitty for our V1 launch to have these technical issues, but I appreciate anybody who's still in the stream, listening. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a buzzkill, but let's keep it going. All right, well, let's maybe move more to conversation. So I see we have Luis. Luis, can you hear me there? Matt, are you there? Hello? I can't. Oh, man. Dude, we might have to scrap this stream. This is so bad today.
I can hear you now.
Okay.
You hear me now?
Yes.
So weird. Okay. Cool. Hopefully you can continue to hear me. But yeah, I want to kind of move into the conversation of the call, given we're having these technical difficulties. So me showing stuff probably isn't as optimal. So I think the question, because I really want to get your perspective on green goods and more so before talking about this green goods, I want to understand more in Barcelona, some of the pain points you have around impact reporting, things that just make it hard, the type of things you do capture for impact, and how that affects you forming capital, how that affects being able to bring in more funds and stuff like that. So hopefully you heard that question.
Was it to me? Understood like the Barcelona point?
Yeah, I'll see you. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'd say on the impact reporting aspect side of things, so just giving a bit more context, we've been for the last, I think, 3 months already running the Regenera en Catalunya program, a funding program here in Catalonia, funded by local cooperative networks and a localism fund from DD24. And one of the requirements or points of the program was exactly capacitating projects with impact reporting and using Karma for that. And on the pain points, I would say we've been preparing some reports, so we definitely have better information, like in some documents. But for now, I'd say mostly the onboarding, kind of like the cheapness, like of Karma. So yeah, the pain points that we've been facing is that often it's not so easy for the local projects to use any kind of more techie savvy tool. On Karma specifically, there was also the aspect, and I think that's a quite a relevant point for green goods, that is kind of clear, and not that it's like a big issue or anything, but it's clear that Karma is more focused towards like tech development and like builders in that regards, and not so much like local communities doing work on the ground, like regenerative, technological work and so on. And so there was definitely a big like learning curve. I wouldn't say barrier. We did get to help out, and all the projects did get to report like nicely the updates on Karma. There's still quite a few small issues and like bugs. So small things like metrics don't really work exactly as they should, and some minor points on the process that end up becoming not so easy for local projects, again, that often are not so tech savvy and so on, to be working on. I think also the main point would be not the platforms themselves, but basically the funding landscape, especially coming from the Web3 ecosystem to local communities. And that has been like a bigger issue that I'd say that we've been having, because one of the points of the program is onboarding like these local communities to Web3 and do this reporting. And basically one of the points that we bring for that is that it would unlock further it can unlock further funding once there are like more funding rounds and so on. And if you already have the activity reports on Karma, then it's way more easy. But right now we can't really say for sure that there will be more opportunities like this for these like local communities doing work on the ground. So I'd say these are some of the pain points that we've been having. Again, as I mentioned, we've been able to have some nice workarounds. But I think a couple of points that highlight how, like green goods would be quite a good solution for that. Also is the mobile aspect of it. So for instance, like most of the projects that have been participating of the projects, like they operate mostly through phones. So they tried like doing the activities reports through phones, and I'm actually not quite sure if the end reports were done on that way, or if people needed to do on a computer. But it's quite good to see that Green Goods is already mobile native. And I think that from my side. And also I'd say the Web3 connection, because it can be like slightly daunting to people who are not really familiar with that. But then I think that's a part of our side of doing the kind of slightly educational work of basically saying what we're trying to do in the ecosystem, why there is these tech aspects together with like ecological and social work. And that's a bit from my side.
Love it. Yeah. And especially, yeah, like a lot of great points made there. With the karma side, that definitely was a goal of ours, is how can we start to abstract away some of the impact reporting platforms? So yeah, for people doing the work on the ground, all they have to do is do the work, get it approved, and it shows up in their karma. So I think that just helps karma grow because can continue to capture all this impact, but makes the platform a lot more friendly and focused. They could focus more on evaluators or funders or the project side and things. So yeah, really like that. Any other thoughts based on what Luis was sharing from the crew?
I have some thoughts, but I'm having so much with them. It's so hard to communicate like that.
Yeah, no, this internet's so bad.
I'm gonna try to leave on your turn.
Okay. And let's see. Yeah, we're gonna move away from Talk Studio going forward. We're gonna find a better streaming tool, guys. Apologies on this. I see we have Jimmo joined, so I'm gonna bring him onto the stage. It's always great to talk to him. What's up, Jimmo?
Hey guys, sorry I missed this. I had a different meeting that went over time, but I hope this was recorded and that I can catch up separately or whenever I meet you guys.
Oh, you're good. We're having a lot of technical difficulties today, so
with the demo, with the Talk Studio app.
Talk Studio mostly. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, but hey, it's going good. It's good to have you here. I'm gonna try to get my camera back on because my internet was crapping out when I had it on earlier. But I think it's my coding tools. I think I had some AI. I left some AI tools running, and I think I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Yeah, they like RAM.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now, Alpha?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, they definitely like RAM. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Okay, cool. All right, we got a crew here.
I have some thoughts.
Okay, yeah, go for it. I'm just trying to get my camera.
I think so. I expect to register kind of all the data. This is kind of a pilot I expect to have there. But yeah, what I think is exciting about Green Goods, and this is part of is that we started as something we would be doing in the ground, and now we have like a full background of tools that can kind of capture the network effect that most times goes to big organizations in the the platformization we have today, right? We have like these big companies that owns everyone's data and sell it, and no one gets any piece of it. And with Green Goods is exactly the opposite. Like we are from really offering for gardens already a way to capture the network effect that our whole network, Green Goods network, would kind of generate. So this is pretty exciting. And how much the possibilities that the vaults open, this is like very it's a high potential here for any like local organization, right? Like we have community banks that most times they suffer with the technology, right? This is one of the barriers for them to access some regulations and things like that. So I think this is very powerful. Definitely, we need to approach with the proper domain side, like to avoid like any issue. Like dealing with data is always hard. But I think this is the work we're gonna be doing every day, improving and optimizing like each little piece of this framework. So very excited with that. And yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Cool. So Matt, Nansel, you guys have anything you guys want to chime in before we pass it to Jimo to kind of have a Sylvie Green Goods combo for a bit? And then Swift, I'll bring you on just to make sure that unmute and mute again when you come on. Hey.
Yeah, testing.
Nice. Perfect. That worked. So cool. Jimo, you're back from New Zealand. How you doing? How's the family? What you been up to?
Yeah, New Zealand was good. Lots of conversations advanced with Hypercerts, Crew, My Earth, Gainforest, others. One Earth. It's so cool to see how that ecosystem has come together. In particular, Sylvia has been working closely with BioFi and One Earth. That's how we kind of like structured by regional boundaries and the regional approach. We think about the campaigns as right now kind of being a subsidy model to maybe be leveraged by mechanisms like what BioFi is creating. But we're working One Earth's ecoregions to define these ecological boundaries. And then to have both of those groups in the same room for a week in person, I mean, that was just so cool. But yeah, I know there's a lot of announcements getting ready to be made on the Hypercerts stuff with that proto. I asynchronously, after you've been sharing that you've integrated Hypercerts quite a bit into what you're doing. So yeah, knowing how much Hypercerts has fundamentally changed, I'm curious like how much technical depth there is in what you built, but how it might evolve into V2 of Hypercerts. But yeah, it's generally pretty exciting what App Proto is. Hoke, David, Bitbeckers, and a lot of that crew are kind of putting together. We're planning to obviously comply with that architecture from Sylvie's perspective, and I think that's just going to be so. It's a really clean way to drive interoperability. Being able to register a project on one app, plug into another app, see the same project boundary, but maybe different data depending on what the apps are specializing on. But ultimately, having that portability of data or hierarchy of project entities and organizational entities. Yeah, it's all pretty exciting and it's coming together in a really cool way. What can we say? There's something I wanted to show you guys, but let me see if I can show something real quick here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I'm just opening something real fast. We've built this tool to be able to. Okay, so remember, I think last time. Let me see if this works. I think during the SDK announcement, can you see my screen? Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if I demoed this last time, the Aurora app that's leveraging the Sylvie SDK, but without having seen the Green Goods app demo yet, I'm speaking just from estimates, from guessing. But we're building these like standalone land analysis features that would be very easy to like run this analysis for Green Goods, depending on different project types. It's picking up a lot of information like watershed information, river information, deforestation rates across different time periods, and even like, basically how the land has been disturbed over time. And then we are coupling this with, I might not have that. Let me see if I have this deployed. Oh, I do actually. So I can hopefully this can work. my AI is also consuming a bunch of RAM, but we now have the species recommender, like Agroforestry, anywhere in the world. We literally trained a neural net for this. It takes some time, so bear with me on this. But basically, I'm quite interested in like collaborating with you guys, because gardening obviously works with many more assets than just trees, but there is obviously this intrinsic ecological relationship between plants, bushes, herbs, and trees. They're all interrelated. Yeah, while Wikipedia has mostly only focused on tree knowledge, there is still, I think, an integrated recipe approach to creating like regenerative practices. I might not be able to load this. I actually hadn't made sure that it was connected. But yeah, I'll send some screenshots, or if, okay, it's just a little bit slow, but here's an example. So we now have different weights for species based on like, you know, climatic or ecological or even like agricultural outputs. And we can filter it based on introduced species or native species. And we can optimize it for different strategies like biodiversity or agroforestry. So anyways, all of this will literally, all of this is like accessible through the SDK. So I know we've been talking about having the SDK conversation for some time, but yeah, I'm just like excited to like test this with apps outside of Sylvie. And if you guys are interested in having these like land assessment tools or like AI consultation on design work or evaluation work, yeah, I'm ready to have those conversations.
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, I could definitely give you a demo on like a one-on-one call, so you could kind of see what we showed earlier. But in essence, I think that fits with so we have 4 domains. We have 4 action domains, which are basically waste management, Ethereum education, solar hub development, and agroforestry. And this feels like, yeah, like a good pairing with the agroforestry domain, so that any gardener in agroforestry could tap into these features and yeah, these data. Yeah.
Cool, man.
And I think agroforestry is it's the highest on the pilot. I think we have 5 out of the 4 doing agroforestry work. So yeah, a lot of synergy there. And I think there's a couple more to still submit. So yeah. Anybody else on the team want to chime in? Any thoughts? See, we got Swift here, but we'll definitely bring it to you in a sec. Matt, you got something?
Yeah, I mean, the Sylvie integration for agroforestry domain seems awesome. I mean, the architecture of Green Goods is all like the big thing is just stacking protocols on top of each other. It's kind of the beauty of open source. So hopefully it's not too difficult to kind of implement, but I think that'd be awesome. Yeah, besides that, nothing too concrete to really share. I mean, I already said the big thing. It's just, yeah, just stacking all these awesome protocols on top of each other, I think, is the beauty of it. Obviously, abstracting impact accounting is kind of arguably the biggest thing within Green Goods, and I think the vaults is also the thing that I'm most excited about. But yeah, no, I'm just excited to see people start using it and working out some of the kinks as they kind of pop up. But yeah, it's all pretty exciting stuff.
What are the vaults? Did you guys present that already?
Yeah, go for it, Matt. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the Octant Vaults. I forget exactly what the number it's called for the vault standard. But yeah, it's basically when projects they create their garden within Green Goods. Part of that also is the creation of vaults. So right now it's specifically wrapped ETH and DAI vaults. So yeah, if you have a garden, basically the projects themselves, the supporters, pretty much anybody can park the capital within the vault, yield is generated, and the gardens themselves can decide how, like, where they want the splits, the yield to be split across, be it Hypercerts soft buy pressure or into the cookie jar. Yeah, I think that's the basic gist.
Amazing. I mean, I love that. So a vault is like, it's kind of replacing, is it managed by a safe? Is it replacing a safe? How does it work?
So yeah, I could give you some of the. So it's owned by the garden account, because every garden in Green Goods has a smart account. So it owns the vault, and then the operators have permissions to act on, to do the certain actions, administrative actions for the vault.
Okay, cool. Yeah, would love to discuss with you guys, maybe Akawe more specifically, like for some of the agroforestry projects that are partaking in the bioregional campaigns, maybe the destination wallet for the project developer or the organization could be a vault to start experimenting with. In a similar way that some of this funding can help seed Sarapo network, like mutual commitment pools, I guess it could also help seed these vaults if that's helpful. But yeah, I'm so interested in just like building and stacking all these things together.
Yeah, I was thinking exactly on the same thing, Jimo. We have already some projects that are working for the afforestation campaign, and we are creating like a Green for Brazil team focused on different MRVs. So we have the like Green Goods, Impact Miner, different tools, and basically we are kind of creating a funnel for people who want to use this framework, right? This is how we are framing. It is still in process because it's a collective effort, right? But what I can tell you is that I can already show them the connection between Green Goods and Sylvie in that way, kind of. They have already a garden on Green Goods, so they have a multi-sig address that they can use on Sylvie to receive the payouts from the tree planting. So I think this is it's a great way to start. So yeah, I think this is something that we can talk more later, but definitely is something that came to my mind.
Yeah, let me know when you guys want to schedule like a Sylvie Green Goods developer call. We can do a nice deep dive on all of this.
Yeah, would love that. If we do that in the next couple of weeks, that'd be great.
Jimo, one thing that I would like to ask you. I remember you were building a SDK for Wikipedia. I don't know if you've mentioned that, but this is running. This is how are the things in this side?
Yeah, I have to admit I've been so busy that I haven't put as much effort into tree gens and Jimmy's calls, but yeah, like the SDK itself keeps on getting better, so it becomes easier and easier to help others, including tree gens. I just haven't talked to them in a little bit, but to reach back out to them.
That's funny. Like a couple days ago, I asked someone, I was like, "Is TreeGens using Sylvie?" Or I was like, "What is TreeGens actually using?" And somebody was like, "Oh, probably Sylvie." That's okay.
Yeah, we're definitely not using Talk Studio ever again. So bad. But yeah, over to you, Swift. And before I do that, let me airdrop the poll out. It should be live now. Let me just make sure. So we got some music going on. All right, so let's see, it's live right now. Yeah, so you could go and claim your POAP right now. Let me get the. Oh, there's some feedback. Well, what's going on? So let me give you guys the secret code, which is growing green. Cool. You guys see the. Put down the stream. Go and claim your POAP. And somebody has some crazy feedback, so I'm just gonna like figure out who that is. Okay, then that's bad. And then we got somebody's typing. Who's typing? Okay, that was Tarun. Oh wow, that is okay. Yeah, Tarun and Nansel, you guys you keep off stage because when you join, it says you're unmuted, but it's a lie, and they actually are. It says you're muted, but you're actually unmuted when you join. So, yeah, I could bring you guys up and back in a sec. But yeah, there's a lot of feedback. But yeah, go get the POAP. Ticket Crow, growing green. And I think I also could try to show. So since we were chatting. Oh, okay, I closed this. Since we were chatting, we had a few gardens created. So we now have 5 gardens. We got green sofa. We have Tech and Sun. We have Greenfield London. So yeah, it's, like I said, by next week, and that's I guess Jimma for you just to see something. So yeah, so this is kind of the back end right now, but like the desktop. I won't say. So we have our actions here, and so we have 4 categories we focus on: solar, agro, and also we need to figure out like IPFS is so annoying. It like it keeps unpinning stuff. So we need to figure that out. We have education, and then we have waste. Yeah, so these are the vaults. It's not too much value lock, but like I said, that will go up a lot over the next day, 2. But yeah, every garden gets 2 vaults on Arbitrum, which often didn't have the factory deployed on Arbitrum. So we actually deployed it there, and we're using Aave strategies on the back end. And I think it's really cool, and I would love to continue to explore more with Aave because I know a lot of their direction and where I've heard like Stanley talk about is going towards like real world assets and focusing on things like solar and stuff. So I feel like there's some potential synergies there. So yeah, we're using Aave in the back end. And if I were to go here, it's just a simple deposit flow where you could. It's basically, yeah, if you have any wrapped ETH or DAI on ARB, you could deposit. And then each garden has a cookie jar. So if I go into like Tech and Sun, for example. So yeah, every garden gets a cookie jar, same assets, wrapped ETH DAI. And so yeah, so yield could be funneled into here. And the UI needs, I've actually have a polished UI, just haven't pushed it up yet, but so this is all like very not well structured in my opinion right now. but yeah, here you could see the split between like the cookie jar, Hypercerts, and this is a little bit misleading. Like we do plan, we'll probably do a juice box, but right now this is just going to the multi-sig.
This is awesome, guys. Congrats, man. So gardens are more than just physical gardens, right? They can be a solar project, or am I getting it wrong?
Yeah. Gardens are more of an abstraction. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So I could see something with Sylvie where like, let's say an agroforestry based focused garden, which would be, I think, well, I could use this example, like the Green Goods community one. Maybe some integration when you're like, honestly, there's so many integration points, you know, like when you're looking at a piece of work, when you're maybe wanting to add some like at Corey, and you know, Corey's been championing this for years, the KML file, being able to like have like ways to like, you know, have metadata on your garden space that's coming from these different inputs. So
yeah, I mean, there's a million different,
and it's all possible. What's great is like we could figure out the most highest leverage thing and really go and do it. Like there's no like
let's do it.
Yeah, let's go. So hopefully that was a good showcasing of the app for everybody who didn't see it earlier. And yeah, and there's the whole client app too, which is the more, you know, which you've seen a little bit of. So that's it. Pretty much looks the same. Just continue to get polished up a little bit. So okay, we got the pull up out. We're at 10, but I want to talk to Swift to kind of close the call, and we can continue to stay on if anybody wants to longer. Okay, see, Cole, you dropped off again. Got you. So Swift would be great to.
Thanks, man. Yeah, can I say something?
Oh yeah. Go
can
for
I say something? Like this is the last thing you said. This is why I asked for the SDK, because this is like the KML. Like we could already bring the data from Sylvie, and data is Sylvie is dealing with the census-based approach, so we can have already this as an MRV branch, right? But we can use also like different compositions of data on Hypercerts to build to different kinds of credits, right? That are not, for example, focused on only on tree census. I think food production is something that is very powerful for gardens, for example.
Yeah, man.
I was just thinking about that. Like the SDK would be perfect, like for this moment.
Yeah, there's a million opportunities, right? So we kind of just need to meet. It's okay to like scope things that will come in V2, V3, V4, but ultimately, like this next conversation, we should hone in on like, okay, what's the V1 integration? What is it accomplishing? What I can say is, so like Sylvie has now for like over 2 years been building like its methodology schema and goal contract schema. But now for us to integrate with Hypercerts and add Proto, some of those things now are, some of that logic is now saved in the add Proto architecture. Things like lexicon, namespaces, active claim types, work scope, things like that. And so as soon as that is published in lexicons, then it's usable by others. And that means we can like look at the same work scope and agree on it, even through like machine readability. So yeah, I think once we agree on some of like the low-hanging fruit, it's just gonna be like, okay, does Green Goods recognize this Sylvie evaluation? And then can we just run an API call to do a land assessment and save that evaluation? Or can we query trees in that area that are registered on Sylvie and calculate maybe with Wikipedia its impact or something? So we'll figure it out. And yeah, it's easier said than done, but I'm sure we can accomplish a lot in the next 2-3 months.
But it's a good vision. Yeah, it's something we can put in the next iterations on this. Yeah, thanks for keeping this conversation afloat.
Yeah, I know. Besides all the technical difficulties, it's just great for us to be able to chat. So like, I'm down to keep it going, honestly. So if anybody wants to stay for another 10, 15, or if you have to hop, feel free. You know. But yeah, let's keep
We need
chatting.
to hop now. I have another call that I already started. But thanks everyone. It's good to be here with you all.
Yeah, we'll talk soon. Have a good weekend, man.
See you.
See you next week.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye bye, Kai.
All right, Swift. It's actually a great segue. We were just talking about Hypercerts, so like maybe if you have any thoughts on that, you could say some things, and then would be great to kind of talk about how you see Green Goods, supporting the work you're doing in Green Sofa.
Yeah, thank you. I think that would be wonderful things for Greenfield Network, because it will it'll align with what Greenfield Network would like to do, turn the degen to regen. And this is as what you write about the series of the different layer for Greenfield Networks. Right now, we got the layer for the application, which is can record the achievement, verify the proof, and then the funding allocation based on the impact and on-chain reputation building by the Hypercert, and as well as you integrate about the cookie jar right there. So I think is a good way to capture all different chapters achievements in one places together. Yeah. So I do expect right now we already got the solution. So the next part or the next step is focusing on the onboarding for different local chapters and the education on how to utilize the Green Grid. And that is the next step. Yeah, but everything is smooth for me while I just creating the gardens on Green Grids, and everything is makes sense and easy to hands-on and click and trial. And one more question we'd like to ask is as you saw that we apply for Arbitrum's grant for the Green Grid development, and while at the same time, Hypercert may seems active for the collaboration between with Cello. So how to say it, how to draft the coming strategy on which chain? Is it multiple for Green Goods, or do we focusing on Arbitrum? But as we all know, and while at the same time we got a garden community at the same time, which is staying on optimism. So here is the question. Well, I would like to, I don't know who I should ask and what is the answer, but try to raise it for further discussion. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we gotta first start at a higher level in the sense of Ethereum and layer 2s, and what does it even mean? Like how much of this stuff just gets abstracted away, right? Where you could, have stuff on Cello, stuff on Arbitrum, it's not really to the users, it's all abstracted, and you like, because I could tell you right now, Green Goods, how we have everything deployed would not be possible on Arbitrum because it's missing certain I think it's missing one of the protocols we're using, which I'm trying to remember off the top of my head which one it's missing. It doesn't have a Hypercerts Marketplace. Only Arbitrum does. So that's the only way we could do the buying of the fractions and stuff like that. Of course, we could have deployed a marketplace, but we want to, kind of tap in. And a lot of this ties to V2, right? Because like Jim was saying, so I'm expecting to have to make adjustments depending on, how things flow of like Hypercerts V2. They launched a marketplace on Celo with a lot of liquidity, and that's where most of that, this type of hypercerts we would want to create live. Then, we could migrate there pretty easily. Right now, we're pretty much set up to support Celo and Arbitrum. That's where like we have decent coverage on it when it comes to L2s. I think it's a larger question on how things go. I would love to just be able to just deploy it on Ethereum in like a year and just call it a day. And but who knows like how things go. So I think very flexible. The protocol is very flexible to be able to be deployed across multiple chains as needed. So hopefully that could answer some of the question.
Thank you. Yeah. I just introduce about the green goods to green sofas this week, and to let them know about there is a new way, or I will try first, and then educate about what is green goods, how it can capture the impact, and then verify and integrate with cookie jar and Hypercerts, other things step by steps. So, but one of the key thing is that right now we are onboarding a very big community, which is in focusing on the second-hand material exchange in Taiwan. So the community is really active. They got 10K member, 10K Facebook member. So they already run that Facebook community for years, which is led by a professor in the university, focusing on the art and the material. So you run this second-hand material exchange community over years, and right now it already accumulated 10 active Facebook user right now, and that is what we are trying to support them. So one of the key factors, which is race in green goods, and I think that would be the one of part we hopes to deliver through connect with a green good and the local project about that second-hand material cycling. So this is what we are discussing at this moment, and hopes to onboard them, because they are quite new in Web3. They got just learn how to get a UA, and then how to well manage about some kind of stable coin and settle the gas fee, etc. things. Very junior, but already solid project staking in grassroots to support the second-hand exchange in Taiwan already. Yep. Just some update.
Nice. Yeah. Love that. Yeah. That's great, because there's such a diverse set of, and that's why I'm very curious with green goods, because a lot of this is very different, domains that are doing a lot of like different things. So I think there's a lot that we could learn and then figure out how things like correlate to each other. So like, yeah, I didn't even know, I didn't have that context that like it was an exchange program. So that's really cool. And then also like, I feel like even how you described onboarding people, I feel like that in itself could be something you capture with green goods, because we have like Ethereum education as one of the other domains. And I would highly encourage, and I think we even will incentivize gardens to also do Ethereum education-based events, because we need to complete our ARB grant in March. So ideally, each garden, we will be providing each garden with funds in their cookie jars. So like for garden activation. So to throw your first workshop, do your first planting, whatever makes sense for your domain, and then be able to ideally mint a hypercert. And I think with V2 launching, there could be some things there. Because I know with V1, it's more you create a hypercert retroactively after you've done an impact, because it's a kind of final moment where you're pairing the metadata with the token. My understanding with V2 is that it's very much decoupled. So you could deploy your hypercert proactively and then attach impact to it over time via like the lexicons and things like that. So with that proto. So yeah, which is going to be great, because then we could proactively create these hypercerts going forward for different things. And one thing I didn't even show, I just realized, is the assessment flow, which I guess could show that another time. And I encourage anybody who's kind of curious about green goods, because I'd say like we're launching it, but it's still very much like a pilot of it's a close knit community of gardens that are partaking, and we're trying not to go do too much and try to onboard too many people to where we can't provide that real care and support that is needed at such an early stage, and for projects that are just getting into the platform. So if you really want to partake, you can reach out, send a DM on like Telegram, or message on Discord, and could get you on board. So we definitely want to encourage more people, but definitely want to have you kind of seek it out until we feel more confident and kind of fix all the kinks for then that V1.1 launch, which is more when things actually go well. Like even today's launch, we had technical difficulties and stuff. So yeah, it's great. That's how it goes. So I'm not tripping. But yeah, anybody have any last thoughts you want to share? We didn't even really get to AI. Hey, Luis, if you want to talk about AI and nodes and stuff, we could get into that right now. So you just let me know.
Just a quick note before the conversation shifts again. There's a Hypercerts community call on March 5th.
Oh, can you drop a link for that?
I can try.
Man. He's definitely you
Yeah,
gave him a DJ set, Matt. So like, I'm not surprised James is allowed. It's gonna gotta make noise. Yeah, Luis, what's up? Or was that Luis who unmuted?
So sorry, I missed that.
Oh, I thought you unmuted. I thought you were gonna say something. Oh yeah, but I was saying about the AI, OS, nodes conversation.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, I don't really know. Like much more to say in the direction like now. I think it's quite cool that I think we're getting into a point in which we're having some organizational infrastructure to basically do these experiments and like adopt possibly like agents to be working on things for like a specific organization and community, and not just like people individually. And I think with the things that we've been like more specifically, for instance, like the the preparation that we've been doing, like with the local reading toolkit. We are now, and even though, like, for instance, I didn't get to join the last call, but like we're now exploring more like with AI agents there, and I think it's quite an interesting time, and I think there's it can change a lot of things, I'd say, and so I think it's quite good that we're already like doing the experiments in that direction. But I can just see also like more direct integration. I think like Green Goods is a good example of like how there's already like the integration between like multiple tools going on, and I think things are going to be moving like in that direction, basically. And I think AI agents are quite good for that.
Yeah, that's a good segue, because like kind of the green goods angle, I've really been yeah, because once I finished working on like V1 and of course it's gonna continue to be a core focus and polish and not gonna get too ahead. But naturally when you finish a big sprint, you start to, think ahead and think in the future. And yeah, with green goods in particular, like I really feel that having the ability to embed oh, I should also mention the public good staking protocol, which is kind of the capital formation side of the region stack we've been building in the dev guild that has been focused on more purely staking, running staking nodes. And I think there's like an aha moment just like recently of like with AI, that staking becomes this one thing that node can do. And then you could have it do other things such as, on-chain skills around, of course, like green goods for impact reporting, gardens, Sylvie, all the tools that, we love and have been building in a space. And then having it be able to then also build like a knowledge commons and things of that nature that ties in this, the stuff we've been talking about, like I'm working on with like within region coordination. And yeah, I really think that and I've been, my background is more, I'm an engineer, software engineer, and of course that title's going away. And maybe thank God I transitioned over these past few years into more of a community builder and then just being a pure like coder. But in essence, like that background, there's been a big movement, and this ties even to App Proto to a large degree around local first, where like building applications where people own their data, like it lives with them. It apps function more in an offline capacity and that aspect. And I really see a potential here with nodes and AI kind of pairing it with like, for example, the Green Goods, app, and then being able to like via Green Goods communicate with their node to do certain things, etc. And it doesn't even have to be green goods. It could literally be anything. It could even be where people are more even comfortable. Like, okay, no, you use Telegram, you use Signal. You could just have like you just give your AI number and just like kind of chat with it there. So yeah, I feel like there's a big opportunity here because in the next couple years, everybody will have agents, and you can't really front run any opportunity. But we are really in this like unique position because I feel like if you were just into AI, you wouldn't be able to have the insight we have having built on blockchains and like in Ethereum and a kind of different way of how we view systems and stuff. And we like really what we're building is like for agents to have that trust and be able to do things. And so I think this is definitely a moment to start to enshrine agents using our protocols on chain to do regenerative and coordination and local based work. And I think I don't even know if this is a word, but I think a lot of the potential here is like being more productive and then also being more proactive. So it's like proactivity, like which I don't know if that's a word, but I just think in essence like that's what AI really enables is kind of really closing that gap from having these calls where even like for example this call in the future like where we talk about these ideas really I think it will become the norm in the future maybe a few years, but we could set it up in the next year or so where after we have these calls AI we have agents that are extracting certain touch points around whether it's the tool building like okay building that integration in the Sylvie. We just have an agent that kicks off and it's able to do that in a good enough prototype manner where we could go check it out, then talk about it more, then it improves it again. So I really want to get into that type of flow of building going forward. So yeah, I'll pause there because I could get a little ranty when we start talking about AI. But yeah, any thoughts from anybody that's on the call right now? Jimmo, Swift, Matt, Luis.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy how fast things are moving, right? But I think you're thinking definitely ahead with thinking about a lot of the systems and tools we're building now really are for agentic use, and it's hard to project exponential curves, right? But I mean, I think not a lot of people are questioning that pace anymore. So I think that's a good frame and good mindset to have. I would say that a lot of the conversational agentic use cases are just limited by schema and natural language integration. AdProto is looking to solve this through CEL, CEL, which is the composition framework by Google. I forget what the acronym stands for. And then everybody's kind of already experimenting in the space, whether it's Clawbot or custom tool calls with Claude or Codex. I don't know what you guys are using as a AI stack, or if you're just kind of using a bit of everything. But like Sylvie meetings are already recorded, and immediately after, instead of it just having summaries through like Fireflies or Gemini, it's actually pushed by an agent who reviews our Notion, reviews our code base, is creating tickets. So all of that is like very, very implementable. I'm happy to share my learnings in the AI space, things like memory extensions, graph-based Git commits to kind of parallel AI agentic efficiencies, and then workflow documentation, like using something called go.md, which helps with planning and activities and logs. And yeah, so there's just a lot of shared learnings there. If you want to like maybe host that discussion at some point, I'm definitely happy to share what we've learned and what we're using.
Yeah, that feels like a good Twitter space for sure. So yeah, let's definitely set that up. And yeah, there's so much, and like yeah, you said that we're on an exponential curve, so it is very hard. I guess I'm trying to kind of look at it more I'm trying to be more logarithmic to where like, yeah, it's a big one, but hopefully it'll stabilize up because we'll find that equilibrium, that limit, that healthy limit point. So yeah, like I don't know, like it's like I guess, and then just to maybe translate this to business models, because I think a lot of times like we could talk about these ideas, but like how does that actually translate into coherent sustainability and growth for the work we're doing? I think a big thing here like is getting protocol fees established within our protocols at like for certain core actions at a 1 to 3% between that range, like no more, no less. Like this like fee type of revenue and business model that the agents are generating that revenue, which is then going to the treasury and the contributors that are building. And building now becomes less of like just purely like writing code, but building relationships, building narrative, building story, building culture, things we've been doing, in the space, right, for the past few years. I think start to ideally compound on themselves. And then I think another thing is service fees, which translate. I feel like that's a lot of the work we've kind of been doing, but not really. The grants that we've been mostly getting have been like builder-based grants. But I think the more future grants are more contracts for service fees for helping people set up these community nodes and platforms and get things established within their site where they're doing their work, right? And then licensing fees. So I think we have that open source ethos, so we could build a lot of these protocols that then many of you guys know about Wafa and what I've been working on there. There's a lot of like even a lot. I had ideas for like a Wafa pod, before even like all this stuff like and using AI and IoT. So I could just build the open source version of that, license it with Wafa to then like use, and that and if Wafa is a success, then that's a lot of revenue there. And then the last thing would be token launching. I've last a couple of years, like when it comes to launching tokens, I've been pretty like wary on it. I think now is a moment to launch like what actually math-based tokens like RevNets and these type of things, because that will enable to capture the value. That'll enable if the protocols we use scale and agents are using these on the back end, using Octant Vaults and growing these endowments, we want to be able to capture some of that value with the token. So yeah, I think to me those are the four things, like 4 areas for a coherent business model to build around. Which I'm actually curious, Jimmo, like, how do you view, like, with Sylvie, what's the kind of business model, or how have you felt like, or do you feel like you found product market fit? Like, kind of like, how do you feel like where Sylvie's at right now?
I mean, we're so far from product market fit. I mean, most of the revenue we've closed is like one-off cases, mostly consultancy or helping projects. But like for the bi-regional campaigns, I think there's an opportunity for Sylvie as a tech provider to capture a fee. But right now, the only fee we're capturing is for the evaluator role, which, by the way, I'm actually collecting that as an individual for some of the early evaluations. And I'm looking to open that up to evaluation groups, because we also want to create that business model for evaluators to evaluate. Although you might also wonder, like, how much of that is going to be agentic, right? But even then, is that going to be a product or a service? So lots of questions in the air here. I would say that our core business model just requires sheer scale to be feasible, right? We trust that at scale there will be small pieces of the money flows that we can capture as a fee, whether it's a fee on our allo pools or a fee on an evaluation report or a fee on a percentage captured on a payment. But what's the point in trying to like capture a big fee out of just 100K, right? There's no point in that. We much rather see the industry grow, the mechanisms grow. When there's millions, hopefully billions flowing, then yeah, even 1% of that can sustain Sylvie. But yeah, at this point, we're not chasing revenue. We're trying to, I guess, raise the tide, because you do need those network effects. You do need adoption. You do need consensus by the community. Yeah, and it's kind of more dialectic for now. But I think we all kind of just agree that unless billions flows into environmental conservation space and regenerative practices, I mean, the trajectory of the planet is so depressing that there's no path where it improves without the economic system participating at scale. And so the question is, how do we enable that? And then I think we can cross that bridge about product market fit.
Yeah. It's fun to figure out. Like, I love to hear others, because because I've been talking a lot. So, anybody else have thoughts on like this? Yeah, business models, sustainability, PMF. Maybe I'll pass it to you, Luis, if you're there.
Yeah, sorry, got a bit lost in the tabs. Yeah, honestly, I don't really have much specific points, but yeah, I'm also agree, I think, with what Jimmo was saying, and I think now it's I would personally say, like, keeping it short, that now should be the time of actually showing up that, like, from the last cycles of the crypto regen refi spaces, I think now it's basically like the point to see what has been actually like relevant and how to put things together. And yeah, attracting capital, that's, yeah, I think that should be, yeah, that hasn't been easy, especially considering like the current market conditions, but considering that I think most projects and like people in the space will see the need, like, a necessity for this. I do think we'll be probably like moving more towards the approach of like collaborating and having like a more collaborative stance in this. And for instance, like trying to bring external institutional support or like external capital. That's something that we can do more, yeah, collaboratively in the ecosystem instead of like with our individual projects. And I think that's a good aspect of like yeah, let's say like the current condition of things. But I also found quite interesting what you mentioned, Afo, for instance, like in the point that now could be yeah, like a good time again, like to experiment with tokens possibly. Like yeah, for instance, like what you mentioned, like with the RevNets and like agentic like work and use and so on. I think there could be quite some potential there. As you had mentioned also before, like I think it's really good that we have already been working in this, and like we're already familiar with like the financial infrastructure in which a lot of this can be working on. That is like the blockchain, like the different like protocols on top of that, and so on. And that's pretty much like, yeah, could be the perfect or like the good fitting financial infrastructure for. Yeah, and I think then a key would be to see how, but basically to close like the value circle gap of like, yeah, that basically like working with agents and so on. And I'm curious to see this next wave of experiments. Also, yeah, quite, yeah, on a personal level, like, yeah, cool to see that there's, I think, like more experimentation probably, and more of us, like us all in the space, like saying, oh yeah, we're experimenting with stuff, we're seeing what will happen and so on, instead of probably like super, I don't know, like macro visions before. But anyway, I'll stop rambling, and yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not rant. We need a better word than ranting, because like it's like because it's not rant. Like, you know, we're saying great stuff. Like, I loved everything you just said.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I know there's another word, I just can't think of it. But yeah, it was yeah, man. Like I guess like it just feels like this is such a moment to where I feel empowered really to be able to and probably via Green Goods, because I'm hyper focused on like collaboration and interoperability of, you know, like if something already exists, or if there's a protocol that's, you know, that everybody's kind of coalescing around, like we're going to integrate it. And I think that's why I feel like getting the protocol fees and tokens set up, like the on-chain capital formation side, and we've done some of that with the vaults and the yield, like creating that flow system, like the pipeline for all this, the flow, all this value to flow. I could then continue. I could then like start to really hyper focus on bringing in capital into these systems, because like, for example, you know, I live in California, for example, and there's a ton of grant funding, and there's like a big climate bond that got passed, like I think in 2024. They're gonna start distributing funding for like in a year, or like a little under a year, so I think. So there's plenty of like opportunity, and like in the past, you know, with how things were, like you could bring in that capital from like a California and build something, and by naturally building and progressing the tool and the platform or protocol, whatever you're building, that's great. Yeah, there's network effects there, but I think it's even more powerful now with blockchains and Ethereum of actually using that capital, putting some of those capital in, like, you know, pools, and then having it flow to the other parts of the different gardens and, you know, different protocols. Because if on the back end we're using gardens, we're using things, and they just enshrine on their protocol the, like, you know, fees, then this becomes a thing where via your agent, or even still via yourself, like it's still human could still press the button to do a lot of these things, and they probably still will, especially in the global south and more developing places for a little bit. They, you know, all the feeds just get generated there, and like, and unlike what Jimma said, like a lot of this is about scale. So yeah, that's very important. So we just gotta do some math. Like I really want to start understanding more, because I can understand everything like system level, but it's hard to always get into the math, because the math could always change. But I think we're getting to that moment of like, you know, maybe you know, maybe I'm more speaking for myself, and I don't want to speak for others, but I feel like starting to understand, okay, how can we coherently like put like a, you know, fees for certain core actions, like in Green Goods, like minting a hyperstore or creating a garden. Because when you create the garden, you're getting a lot. You're getting a vault set up, you're getting a garden set up, you're getting cookie jars. So yeah, that's a lot of stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. Matt, do you want to say anything here? Love to hear. You could be the last one to chime in here. We could close it. Can anybody hear Matt?
Sorry, I was muted on my laptop end as well. I feel like I'm still in fly on the wall mode when it comes to this type of stuff. Protocol fees, small protocol fees make sense in my brain. I'm also super interested in seeing like additional case studies of RevNets being created and that whole thing. But I don't know. I'll leave it at that instead of trying to explain how exactly I don't know. But yeah, we'll figure it out slowly but surely, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Would you say those are the things that excite you? Like kind of exploring the RevNets? Like what you just said is kind of like we want to explore and learn more.
Yeah. Or I don't even know if I want to explore it or if I just am happy to kind of wait in the background while other people kind of use it and see how it plays out. Yeah, I don't know. That's not the bravest answer, to be honest with you, but it's no pleasure being the first to run through the door.
I guess it's perspective, because if you're looking at it within our group, yes, like, I'll probably run through the door first and stuff. If you zoom out a bit, you are okay. You are on the edge. You are going through the door to others, how they'll perceive, what you're doing. So, but yeah, I totally get you. Yeah. All right. There's a little bit of a lag there. Cool, guys. Yeah, I think we stayed on for a good bit. Glad we're able to really like have the latter half of this be a really, really good conversation. If anybody's still on the stream and has stayed listening, really appreciate you spending some time during your Friday to listen to us talk about green goods, impact, capital formation, yeah, all the good stuff. So yeah, any last words from you guys? Appreciate you guys joining and staying on.
Yeah, just quickly from my side, thanks a lot for the invitation, Afo, and also, yeah, congrats, and really good to see the evolution of green goods. And I think definitely that's a really good example of like this kind of, yeah, somehow like new stage with a new kind of like paradigm of exactly like connecting and integrating the tools that are already available and like putting them all together in like one substructure or something. But nice one. We'll keep it short. Thanks for that.
Yeah, thanks, Luis, for joining. It's always great to chat. Cool, Jimmo, Matt. Thank you guys. You guys got anything?
No, man, I look forward to deep dives. Thanks for hosting this. Congrats on all the progress, and have a good weekend.
You too, man. Thanks. Appreciate it. Maddie, can we get close us off?
Yeah, it's officially game time, baby. Let's get these gardens set up. Just really do one-on-ones, get people familiar with how the tool works, and maybe even get some more people familiar with the protocols that are kind of being connected here. And it's never necessarily about any individual inning, but this is a big one, and just keep pushing that boulder up the mountain.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks everybody for joining. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you soon.